Hey everyone, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. So once again, thank you for tuning in. This topic is going to be the story of how I got started in binary options trading. So I've told this story many times in the past, and you guys probably seen a video of this, which is a highly viewed video on YouTube. It's got like what 20 and 40K views by now. Or is it over 100K views? I can't. I honestly cannot remember. But today, what happened that actually led me to want to kind of like discuss this topic again. Okay, it's because I happen to be, keeping in touch with some of my old members, and I was talking with Brian, one of my longtime members in Binary Life. He's been around since 2015, I think, and we're having a little chat about like just catching up, like how life's going and so on and so forth. Because I was just announcing that I'm like working on this focus group for folks in the United States who are looking to learn how to trade binary options on Nadex. So Brian was one of those who responded, and he was just sharing me his current life. So uh, right now, Brian is taking a layoff from work because like driving a bus, he actually had a work-related injury. I think it was something to do with his biceps that he just wouldn't be able to complete his job duty for now, and it's going to be a couple of at least a couple more weeks before he gets back on track. So when he told me the story, and he also mentioned that, by the way, I wasn't even thinking of getting into this bus driving job. It just happened. It was supposed to be like the in between bridge between like this other career or job that I was looking at, but it just happened. So when he shared that aspect of me, I was like, like that kind of like clicked because I remember how I too when I first started out, if it wasn't because of work related injury, no, actually it wasn't work related injury. Well, I got injured in a road accident. I got run over, not run over. I got hit by a car while crossing the road. So this was way back. It's like 2006 or seven, something like that. Way back. Um, and this for those of you who are in Singapore, okay, or if you visited Singapore, there's a Catholic church known as the Novena Church. It's on Newton. I think it's on Newton Road. Is it Thompson Road or Newton Road? Um, it's just right beside Novena Square kind of thing, and it's a very popular church where people go to, and Catholics and Catholic uh, people to be will go there to pray the rosary in the regular rosary sessions. But anyway, it's nothing to do with the church, but basically it's at a crossing very near to that, opposite to the Novena Church. And the church was here. Just opposite that is the Inland Revenue Authority of Singapore, the IRAS, like IRS for those folks in the United States. That's the Singapore equivalent. So there was a road crossing. It was like it was it wasn't one of those traffic light ones. It was like a zebra crossing, and I was crossing that road, but out of nowhere, okay, like there was a car that came out. Uh, Judging by the amount of distance that I flew for a good like 7 meters or so in the air. I literally was flying. Okay, so um, I don't know how that car came out. It was like a merging. It was a merging road, or was it traffic light? I honestly don't know. I don't remember the details of how I got hit, but it shouldn't have happened. Probably the guy was rushing home to catch a TV series that was coming on TV, but he seemed to be in quite a hurry, and it was a complete surprise. So I flew. I remember how I flew. I remembered how I got suspended in the air, and thinking that, well, if my life wasn't about to end, it would probably end by the time I land on the ground and get run over by a car that's on a different lane. Okay, so that was a pretty freaky experience. Uh, but okay, long story short, I had my left knee fractured. At that point of time, I wasn't into doing this online stuff. At a point of time, I was actually teaching tennis for a living. Teaching tennis at the time was like what Brian said with his experience of driving a bus. It was a bridging job. Okay, I kind of the money was good. I did it, and I enjoyed doing it. Um, it was like the end of day of a work, and at that point of time, I was about to on the way to meet up with a friend, and that happened. So basically, that friend soon joined me in hospital. That friend lived around the area. So um, what happened was, I mean, I'm glad that I kept my life. I'm glad that the injury was at the point of time just a fractured knee. But honestly speaking, at that point of time, I had no expectations on a full recovery. I wasn't expecting it, and it indeed is a blessing that I was able to regain a full range of motion, and within half a year I was able to walk normally. I mean, for the first 3 months, I mean, for 3 months after, I was not able to walk normally yet. I was walking with a limp, and I honestly thought I was gonna walk with a limp for life, but I'm very glad that everything worked out fine. But no matter what, it was during that time when I had to use crutches that I started to think about, like, how am I gonna be, what are my options in life? I mean, like, at that point of time, really young, I was in my early 20s, I was teaching tennis full time. Um, like, I made decent money, but then again, if all that had to go away, because I had to be on recovery. I mean, like, during recovery time, I took about 3 months, or was it 2.5 months before I could get back on the tennis courts again. And when I did, it was with a limp. So, obviously, without any guessing, a lot of my clientele actually went elsewhere because not everyone was going to wait, right? So it led me to think, what am I going to do moving forward? Because I'm going to lose clients, that's for sure. I may not be able to do it to the same level that I used to do before. So what's going to be my options? And by the way, like I said, remember I said it was going to be like, it was just like a bridging job kind of thing. Um, this actually, I mean, how I ended up in tennis. Well, I mean, I'm very passionate about tennis. I love tennis. I was, once playing like the futures. For those of you who follow ATP and ITF tennis, there's like there's the futures, there's the challengers and stuff. I didn't play challengers, but I played a couple of futures, ITF futures matches, and I was actually looking to go pro, but as luck would have it, I had to do military commitment in my country of Singapore, so I got recalled from tennis academy to do that. So, anyways, later on after college, I was going to uh, pick up a bank job as a relationship manager for investments with one of the big local banks in Singapore. And I remember the date. It was the 16th of September in 2008. Anyone know what happened on the around that time? All right. So on the 16th of September 2008, I was supposed to report for my job briefing, my on-the-job training towards being a relationship manager in the front office of the bank, to, like to help out with the sale of investment products, because that was my passion, honestly speaking. Like, investing is a passion. Um, but unfortunately, on the 15th of September 2008, Lehman Brothers was incident. That's when they actually declared, they actually went into the protection of a financial, uh, they went into like a financial protection act, I think, and basically it was like one of the biggest, chain reactions in the financial history of the world in this century. So needless to say, that on-the-job training appointment got cancelled, and that's why I just went on doing tennis. But the accident that I had, fracturing my left knee, that actually led me to think that, if I was going to be crippled for life, or if I never got back my full ability to walk around, what's going to be my options? What am I going to do? So that's how I actually found my way into like doing like internet marketing. So I went through a whole bunch of different stuff. There was network marketing, there was online based network marketing, there were these membership programs on the internet, and I actually did well at some of them. But eventually, what happened was there was a whole change in the way, like, for those of you, anyone out here is like an online entrepreneur. Maybe you probably experienced like the Facebook advertising slap. Okay, so basically, a whole bunch of advertisers got their accounts suspended or limited. I mean, the advertising accounts basically limited from usage. So I was one of those because there was a rule that was passed that uh, you couldn't do make money online kind of type of promotions on Facebook. You couldn't do before and after kind of advertisements on Facebook, and unfortunately, I was in those categories. I was like, well, if I can't do that, what am I going to do? So I did fairly decently for a period of time, and I was just about to be able to repay the debts from that tennis business. And by the way, if you catch my last week's webinar on Friday, last week, you would have heard my story um, of the tennis business and how I racked up a huge debt in it. I did well, but it was kind of funny how manual, real life context martingale actually messed me up really, really bad. So once again, I mean, this video is a whole bunch of stories, but um, it was around that time, um, like the mid 2000s. Okay, back in Singapore, there's a period of time where there was a 6 month rain spell. It was the longest rain spell in the history of Singapore, where it rained just about every other day or more than that, and it was impossible to carry on my business. And I was just hoping that well, all this rain has to come to an end, right? It's going to be like Singapore only has two seasons. It's just rain and shine. So I was like, well, the rain season is going to be over at some point, and the sun's going to come out. So I just need to scale up on my advertising, recruit more people into my children holiday camps, and we're going to have the biggest kids tennis camp in the history of Singapore, kind of thing. So I just scaled up my advertising, scaled my venue bookings, and the result was that we could not do the tennis camp. And then I knew that, okay, you know what, this kind of sucks. We're so far into it. It just keeps getting that. It's going to I'm going to go even extra on advertising, and I was set to make a six-figure sum, even after covering all my advertising costs, all my venue costs, all my advance salaries and retainers for the coaches that I employed. And well, lo and behold, the dryness never came, and it kept raining, and I had so 2 school holidays passed. I had to refund all the deposits I collected, all the fees I collected, and I still had to pay for venue. I still had to pay for advertising. I still had to pay the coaches that I put on retainer so that they wouldn't take on other jobs. Super, super sucking position. So I was about clearing up that debt. I was probably like 45% clearing that debt through my success in internet marketing. At the point of time, I was able to do Facebook advertising pretty well, and then my account got blocked. I was like, okay, shit, what's next? Let's kind of regroup for a month. I don't know when I'm going to come up with a plan, but it's going to be quick as at least 2 weeks. But 2 weeks no income, damn, the price of the bills are going to accumulate. So what am I going to do? So that's when I kind of got desperate. I started searching online for make money online. Okay, how many of you guys actually found binary options through searching online for like make money online? Kind of funny, right? Comment below. I want to hear from you. So I was honestly one of those people. Like, yes, I did come from a background in trading. Yes, my mom was a stockbroker. Yes, my dad was a forex broker. But that is not the reason why I got into binary options trading. Okay, I got into it because of desperation. At a point in time, I did not pull on my parents for money. I wanted to, hey there, WB Capital. I don't know, what's your name, brother? I think you're saying hi as though I know who you are, but I know you probably know me, but I don't know who you are. Yeah, so sheesh, how many of you guys actually got your business affected during the Lehman Brothers financial crisis? Mine was pretty affected. And then I went around that route, and so I was like, okay, let me just continue the story. So basically, I was looking online how to make money online, and it was a pop up behind. It was it was a pop-up behind the Google search results page that came up, I think, and it was something like I remember the initials for that program was like my 2RBC. I cannot remember what it stood for. Let me just search that. I think it's probably offline, but my 2RBC. I don't know what it was like. It was one of those programs that was super popular at the time. Um, and basically it was a system that had no strategy. Okay, it got it was like it was like telling about how powerful binary options is. It's like, oh, you know forex, but this is better than forex. This is faster than forex. You can make a lot of money. uh, there are a lot of people making like what, like three four fold gains in a week. And by the way, yeah, okay, I'm just talking about the sales video that I saw at the time. It said something on the lines of, uh, I'm really super rich and successful, but I'm just sharing this with you because I felt that after I found out, it's only right for me to share and share the message. And can you promise me that after you learn this, you're gonna share it with someone else, kind of thing. So I was like, whoa, this is pretty deep stuff. Let's give it a go. So after figuring out how to enable my very online spending restricted debit card for online spending at the time, I was able to do it and I bought the program. Actually, the program was free. I had to make a deposit to the broker, and after that, I received a set of instructions, and the instructions was a complete disappointment. Okay, it was like a freaking 2 or 3 page PDF, and the crux of it, it was like, oh, look at the trend, see if it's going up or going down. There's only two things can happen. If it's going up, you buy. If it's going down, you sell. You make your first trade for 5 minutes, and you're gonna put $25 on that first trade. If you lose that on your second trade, you're gonna place $45. If you lose the second and the first, you're gonna place $75 trade on your third. And if you lose all of that, you're gonna put $125 trade on your fourth, and you're definitely gonna win. I was like, oh, really? So it was statistically proven and all that kind of crap. So, lo and behold, my account didn't even make it through one run, and but that also led me to see one thing, which is very true in binary options trading, which is that, like, I was thinking for a moment, there was no strategy, and the strategy sucked. Um, the money management strategy was shit. Okay, so I thought for a moment, if I had a strategy, if I had a money management plan, things could have worked out very different. So I was thinking to myself, like, in the span of time it took for me to lose my entire account, all right, I could also, with the right knowledge, possibly grow my account pretty fast too. Probably wouldn't be as fast as I lost it, but how about if I could grow the account maybe 10% um, as fast, or should I say like 10 times slower than I wiped out my account? Would that be something that I could do? I was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, that's when all this technical analysis that my mom was trying to force feed me when I was like 11, 12 years old could be useful. Because my mom used to show me how to do like all these Fibonacci's manually. She literally printed out all these charts on a dot matrix printer. You guys remember those printers, the dot matrix? It goes really noisy. It goes like and the Canon printers, make really funny noises, right? So that's so it's like she used to do that, and she drew these technical analysis and moving averages, plotting the points manually with a calculator and a mechanical pencil. Can you believe that? That's what my mom did, and she used a curved ruler, literally drawing those moving averages manually, right? I know, right? And then she drew the Fibonacci's retracements manually. I was like, whoa. So at a point of time, I never paid too much attention to what my mom was teaching me at the time, but I thought that, you know, this stupid program that made me deposit to a broker so that I could get taught me nothing. It was of zero value. And by the way, um, if you deposited even as much as what I deposited with that broker, which is like 250, did you know that you can actually claim two of my courses for free? That is the Martingale Master Course. Any account that's open through me that's over 100 USD, you can claim the free Martingale Master Course. That's like the first program to help you achieve fast results in trading. And then on top of that, if your account is more than 250, you can also go to my Facebook page admin and claim the Binary Lab Basics course, and that's also free. Okay, so anyway, at the time for 250 deposited into a no-name broker, I had nothing but a really stupid strategy that was like on 3 pages of a PDF, and it didn't work. So I started to try to recall the stuff that my mom used to teach me, and then I was like, I started to research more, and I found out the hard way that a lot of the indicators that you use in Forex, while they may be the same as in binary, but they do not work the same way as in binary. Okay, it looks the same. Well, yeah, sure. We also use moving averages. We also use the Bollinger Bands. We also use the RSI. We also use the stochastics, but not in the same way as you Forex traders do. So, I realized the hard way that a lot of stuff that I could find out for free on Baby Pips didn't actually serve me anything. A lot of the stuff that I found on like Forex Factory, it was great and looked like it made sense, but it didn't serve me in any way. In the end, I had to find out and re-figure out how it's going to work. Yeah, Fibonacci actually worked pretty good, by the way. So I had to figure out again, and after I figured out again, that's when I was like, hey, maybe I could share this knowledge with a couple of people, and that's when how Binary Lab actually started out. At a point in time, I joined a trading group. Why did I join a trading group? I joined a trading group at the time because I was like, I'm sick and tired to hell of all these stupid programs. What I need right now is I need to be part of a group of people where I can, like, you know, maybe I don't dare to enter the trade, but someone else does. And if he does and gets a good result, I can ask him why he did that. And maybe if he, after hearing his explanation, is going to make sense with me, and I can start trading more of this other way, which I'm not capable of trading right now. And then at the same time, if I win a trade and someone else loses a trade, then I would actually build a confidence that, hey, yes, I can spot winning trades too. So so basically, I was part of a training group. Some of you guys know, you guys remember Green Room, okay? So after a while, I realized that the whole bunch of stuff they had, they were probably as clueless as anyone else. They were changing methods so often, and the speed at which the guy was changing his mind was crazy. And at a point in time, I recalled how, like, it started out good, but after a while, it just got really messy, okay? And that's when I decided that enough is enough. And, me and a couple of people that I knew, we actually, kind of bunched up together, had a small little community. It was in Google Hangouts. And that was basically how Binary Lab started. It later got renamed as Binary Lab. We started to figure out all this stuff in trading, okay? And at a point in time, like I said, when I first started on Binary Lab, it was actually more like a tool for me to understand the markets better. Because wouldn't you agree with me that maybe like 10, 12 minds would be way better than one? Maybe someone else wouldn't, they would see something I don't see. At a point in time, though, everyone was only knew about all these shitty scammy tradings out there that had zero value. So I thought, what about, at a point in time, I may not be a guru, and I definitely was not a guru at the time. I was probably only just a little bit wiser than everyone else. But I thought if I could teach what I knew about technical analysis to these people, then maybe they would be really good partners with me to spot stuff in the charts, and we could actually do stuff. I mean, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So we had Google Hangouts, and then like it was really cool. I mean, we like whoever saw it, hey, look at this chart, hey, look at this chart. And by the way, for those of you who are actually looking into my US focus group on how to trade Nadex, I want to do that. In this focus group, I want to have not just webinars, but I want to have unplugged sessions. What's unplugged sessions? So a webinar is where I'm only the one, like teaching, but an unplugged session is when I'm gonna unmute everyone, or I'm gonna let people unmute themselves so they can speak. and when they speak, possibly they may cover something that I didn't say, I didn't think about. All right, and someone may have a really good idea, and in that span of time that they unmute themselves, well, the idea could have been lost. So I want to have unplugged sessions. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to having. And then that got me like just like this is kind of like the plan, and I was like, um, yeah, this could actually work. So fast forward to the present, here we are. Um, we've got this community, and the binary lab community has got me through so many ruts in the business. You you wouldn't believe it. I honestly want to share with you that there's so many times I just wanted to wash my hands and walk away. No doubt I made a lot of money in this industry, but there were so many times that I was deeply dejected and disappointed with myself that I just wanted to dig a hole for my head and bury it in the mud for all the stupidity and the stupid decisions that I made at certain points of my trading career. All right, but I couldn't do that because if I did that, what's going to happen to the people that followed me? What's going to happen to the people that respected and followed my recommendations and decisions? It's like for their sake, I got to figure it out no matter what. So that's what's been happening all this time in the binary lab. And you know, um, sometimes when people say like thank you after overcoming a really difficult time in the markets, I actually say thank you back. I tell them, if it wasn't for you, okay, if it wasn't for your trust in me to find you a solution, we both probably wouldn't be here anymore. I probably wouldn't be doing this anymore. If it was just for me, I'll be like, oh yeah, I made a couple hundred grand in this business before this. Well, maybe I'm just gonna close shop and I'm gonna do something else. And with all my debts paid for, I could probably live very well with all the money that I saved, and I'll probably never touch binary options again. But wouldn't you agree with me? I mean, some of you guys watching this video, you've been like, you've tried binary options, you did it, you stopped, you did it again, you stopped, you did it again, you stopped. And if you did binary options and you did something else, don't you feel as though it's like, isn't binary options like the fastest way to make money online? Like seriously? I mean, it is, right? Because you think about it, where else can you make money when the market doesn't move? The market could move like maybe like 1/10 of a pip, like a point, right? It just moves like 1 point in the correct direction and you get a full payout. Okay, a lot of people actually start, like talking about this stupid odds stuff. There's so like even Forbes, right? Forbes, was it Forbes? Yeah, I think it was Forbes. They had this write up. Forbes doesn't seem to like binary options very much, by the way. So they had this write up years ago, and they're saying that when the moment you enter a trade, the odds already stacked against you. Well, based on what? Well, probably they're basing it on the fact that if you lose the trade, 100% of the trade just goes away, but if you win the trade, you only get maybe 85% payout. So what happened to the 15%? Well, honestly speaking, the 15% is the broker's fee. That's what they deserve to earn for setting this deal up between a buyer and a seller, or let's say for a liquidity provider to take on the liquidity. So it makes sense, okay? But what a lot of people are missing is that a lot of people say, hey, you're doomed to fail. If it was 50-50 accuracy, you're doomed to fail because if you lose 100. If you win 85%. But they they fail to notice something about binary, which I think is by now is still the most amazing thing about binary options, which is that there is no spread, and you only need to be 1 point correct. That's like a 4 or 5th decimal place, and that alone, decides that the trade is a winning trade. Sometimes, or maybe some of you who've been trading binary options before, you had this experience that you've been through any of you been through like a cliffhanger moment? You've been like you were trading and then like for like uh, you know, for 1 or 2 minutes you were hyperventilating or you were holding your breath because you were the price is like barely moving and you're just like, oh shit, just a little bit more, just a little, hold it, hold it, hold it. Am I going to win this trade or not? And yeah, like in these kind of situations, heck, if it was forex, you wouldn't even get any money at all. In fact, you'd be losing spread. But in binary, you make. So that's the amazing thing. So because there's no spread, okay, then we don't really need to have a great distance moved to be able to out the trade. So that actually enables a lot of people to trade very high frequency. So one of the first things I found out when I started trading buy options was that, like, I mean, when I first started about trading buy options and being profitable doing it, I was like, whoa! I used to spend like a week just to chalk up maybe like 10, 15 trades in forex, but I can now do that easily within a day. Okay, and all I need to do is a certain net number of wins. I need to be very smart. I'm not going to enter opportunities. Um, I'm not going to enter opportunities where it's low percentage. I'm not going to enter opportunities where it's ambiguous. I wouldn't enter opportunities where I don't have a feel through my analysis that's going to work out. And therefore, just focusing on the right things, I was like, hey, if I cherry pick my trades and I had a system of doing so, wouldn't that be even easier? And that's what actually led me into the exploration of indicators and I invented like God knows like maybe like 60, 80 different templates. And by the way, anyone who joins the Binary Lab Elite can get access to my 6, 7 years library of all the templates and MT4 and even on the modern broker like IQ options trading view. um, you get all the all the lesson all the method videos, you get all the screenshots, case studies, and it's all right there. It's a big wealth of information. But you know something, nowadays I don't even teach methods and strategies anymore. What I teach instead is something called market adaptation. What market adaptation is that you use the right method at the right time. Ever had some experience when you're trading and you learned a method, you downloaded it from some website, you got it from a forum, or maybe someone that you know who actually truly cares about you says, do this, do this, do this. This method is 80% accurate. But then again, you've tried it out and you're wondering why I don't get 80% accuracy. I'm going to explain that for you really quickly. In fact, you can look at my other video about the adaptation equation. So long story short, it's kind of like, if you are only 80% able to identify the market, okay, okay, I can identify 100%, I would have 100% efficiency. But if I can only identify what's happening like 60%, 80%, I'll only have 60%, 80% efficiency of the strategy. Okay, so if my adaptability of my adaptation quotient is 80%, the strategy is 80%, I'm not going to get 80% win. I'm going to get 80% times 80%, which is 64% win on the whole. So this is the reason why a lot of people are getting like, upset themselves for nothing when, and as a matter of fact, they are doing the right thing. You just need to improve your adaptability level. And that's something that I teach and help people achieve through a set of daily trader routines and also a series of videos that help people transform from being like an ordinary retail trader like anyone else to being able to think critically along the lines of how an institutional trader would probably be thinking. So that way you have a much, much better shot of staying within the 10% profitable people in the market and never ever going back to the 90% that have always struggles to make money online through trading. Um, so this is my basic story about my binary options journey. I hope you enjoyed my sharing. Like I said, it was not planned. Life guided me to it. But on that note, I also want you to like think of one thing. I personally believe that everything in life happens for a reason, and it is imperative that no matter what thing happens to us, it could be something good, it could be something bad, but we have to find the reason for why that happened. If we can find the reason, the justification for why that happened, then it would be worth it. The kind of thing that I'm talking about is that, well, something shitty could happen to you today, or maybe leading up to you watching this video, you wiped out an account. But when you wiped out an account and came to watch this video, maybe you are actually in a better place. You're more open to listen for solutions and ideas to help you not mess up in future, as compared as compared to if you never ever as compared to if you never ever had a serious mistake. Because if your cup is not if your cup is full, okay, how can it be filled? You need to first empty some of that cup so that you can actually, have new inspiration, new content go in. Okay, so for those of you who want to work with me, who want to learn, I saw a couple of messages in passing because I don't know why my phone's kind of playing up today. I saw a couple of comments earlier regarding like coming under my wing. Um, I have a program called the Binary Lab Elite. Okay, I do also have free programs such as Martingale Mastered and Binary Lab Basics. You can in fact check those out on my website. But rather than those two programs, I would actually highly recommend the Binary Lab Elite. The reason for that is because you can have all the methods in the world, you can have access to the best methods, but if you do not know when to apply what, or how to apply it in the correct way, it's still useless. So what the Binary Lab Elite does, what I do over there, is that I have a chat group that you can actually post questions, screenshots, trading histories, and basically have feedback on what you're doing, whether you're doing the right way, or perhaps you're getting in out of your trades a little bit too early, or getting out too late. So that's how you can tune. And on top of that, I also have daily trade case studies that are being posted in the group. So for example, by the way, my cousin does this because he does a much better job. I mean, he's systematic, he's organized, and he doesn't like to meddle. I love to meddle because creators just love to tweak all the time, right? So until I give new versions of my methods, what my cousin does is that he's going to go out there and post this pair, this time frame, how many minutes trade, um, sorry, this pair, this time frame, what kind of trade it is. Is it a reversal? Is it a breakout? Is it a ranging? Is it a trend consolidation? Is it a river crossing? The different approaches that and different nicknames of stuff that we give to the methods. And basically in the next couple of seconds after that, anyone seeing that is going to take that as a cue. Okay, let's go to this chart. We don't have to scan through everything. We just need to look at this particular chart that's already singled out by Kevin, and then we're going to just look at it. We're going to take the trade, and a couple of seconds later, or maybe 1 or 2 minutes later, a screenshot of that trade is going to come up, and then you can see what is Kevin, our trade analyst, entry exit like. Okay, if the trade exit and entry is the same as yours, you're on the right track. Good job to you. But if you're way off, okay, that's about time you get help. And if you're in a group, let's say if you lost a trade, someone else won a trade, and then you're wondering, hey, like, how do you do that? I see that you keep winning this kind of thing, I keep losing. Okay, then it creates a perfect opportunity for you to ask another member, like, could you show me how you do that? Right? I I don't get it. I keep losing, but you keep winning. Can you show me what's the logic that you go in? And maybe could you give me a signal the next time you're going so we can do this together? And wouldn't you think that something like that is going to help you with learning? So I mean that's huge potential. And so by the way, this is last call. Okay, um, well not really. It's not really last call. I mean you could obviously do it later. It's just going to cost you more money. That's all right. Binary Lab Elite. Okay, if you're watching this video right now, okay, you're probably like 24 or 36 hours away from this price of being cut. Okay, Um, there's a lot of value in buying Lab Elite. And by the way, I just want to rant a little bit. How many of you guys know that iPhone 11 has come out? So it's like there's iPhone 11 Pro, there's iPhone 11. It's like what's this? The Max, the Pro Max and Max Pro. So when that came out, my wife and her friends were looking at the iPhone Pro and iPhone Pro Max, and I was like, what's the deal with this? It's not even better in terms of camera quality than a Huawei P30. So why are you guys so caught up with this thing? Yeah, sure, it's got Dolby surround sound, but hey, you know, we got pretty solid Harman Kardon speakers at home. So why the heck do you need that? Beats me. And the price jump from the previous iPhone. I was like, what the heck's up with that? And yet people are going nuts about it. Okay? So I was thinking for a matter like, and then I'm here I am in Thailand, and people are crazy about auto trading, and they don't even look at the stats. They don't even look at the program. They don't even look at the broker, and they're just going into it because everyone else says it's like the best thing since sliced bread, but they don't even know that for a fact. So, what the point I was trying to say is that, you know, I honestly thought that Binary Lab Elite is going for too cheap. I mean, the number of things you can learn, not to mention the bonuses, they are all covered on my replay page. So you can check out the replay page. And I'll put a link to it in the video description afterward. Just check that out. And I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. Like maybe if I increase the price, people will start feeling that this is like the must-have thing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Maybe it's too cheap. You think it's too cheap? Because I honestly want to work with people who are super committed. I want to work with people who are serious about making a huge difference in their trading. People who are not just doing it for fun, but because they want to one day make this part time or full time, right? So so you can fire your boss. You can retire your parents. You can you can make your spouse or girlfriend leave a job so they can go traveling the world with you. You want to buy your kids better presents for Christmas, presents that they deserve since 3 years ago that you couldn't get, right? And I know some of you guys work, and some of you guys have kids. What's gonna happen, like maybe 5, 10 years down the road, when your kid grows up, and you never had time to spend with your kid because you're always at work? Money may have gotten better over the years, but so did your work hours as well. This is one of the things that I saw back then when I was a tennis coach, and that's why I realized that maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I never got into a job, because if I did, sheesh, when am I ever gonna have time to see my kids grow up? And before I knew it, they'd be graduated. And before I had enough time, like, you know, maybe maybe I get a stroke, and I'd be wheelchair bound, and they have to look after me even before I had a chance to look after them. And that's a pretty grim prospect. And I've seen all that happen among my clientele that I used to teach when I was a tennis coach. So it's pretty grim. I was like, no, I don't want that to be me. So the question is back down to you. All right, what do you want in your life? If you want to trade really serious, hit me up, because I want to help really serious people make super serious changes to your life and trading. Okay, you won't, um, you know, you probably don't even know what kind of stuff I have prepared for you to help your mindset grow right now. Maybe right now you could be newbie. Maybe right now you could be like intermediate experience and like moderate experience. But I want to help you make that transition to the point, where you're no longer who you are right now when you're trading. Instead, you're gonna be like a floor trader. You're gonna be like an institutional trader. You're gonna be thinking totally different from where you are right now. I'm gonna be doing that through gradual daily videos, short videos in the system. I'm developing right now. I have a lot of videos planned right now, daily snippets, okay, to help you to grow a habit from none to something, and basically it's going to be a trader's habit that grows through time. All right, I'm super excited to be able to kind of like apply these things that I've been learning and developing from my current pursuit of neurolinguistic programming. I'm currently studying for a certificate in neurolinguistic programming. So I want to help. I want to actually put this to good use to help people seriously make a difference to your life. Because I believe that trading is not just about the strategies and stuff. Like I said, adaptation equation is one thing, but the winner's mindset that needs to be built. Okay, and the winner's mindset is not just about stupid belief, but it's about stupid. Is actually about smart belief in things that make a lot of sense. So, I've covered a lot. Like it's like I actually sheesh. I'm really bad at this. Did you see my webinar replay? Just go check that out. I went on for like 3 hours and 12 minutes, and here I am. I was just planning to do a 12-minute video, but here I am speaking on stuff for like 46 minutes. So I'm very passionate in the way I teach, as you see me sharing over here, and like if there is something that needs to be enforced in the training, I will spend any amount of time to get it done. If I see there's any topic that needs to be expounded upon, I will spend like for example, I spent 6 weeks on divergence trading. I spent several weeks on Elliott wave, and who knows what's gonna be a next big topic that's gonna help you get a winner's edge on everyone else in the market. All right, so uh, hit me up on Facebook through my Facebook page, facebook.com/the Binary Lab page. If you have any questions, check out my webinar replay, watch my other videos, and if you like, just drop me a friendly message or even a comment down beneath here to tell me about your own binary option story, and like why you started out binary options trading, where you plan to get in this, and what kind of help you need. And if you're really serious, I can help you out. Bye for now.